Good. Over the hump?
I'm over the hump.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Good.
I didn't like getting up to the top of the hump, but I'm glad to be on the other side.
I know.
All right, we'll get started. 6:45, Friday, January 14th. So this week, code of conduct is to strive for restraint, discretion, and integrity. It's one of my favorite code items. I know it's one of Ben's favorite code items. So anything more you would like to say on this code this morning, Ben?
It's the essence of what we do every day, I guess. It speaks for itself, Matt.
Yep, I agree. Very, very, very good standard to live by. So another 7 days without a recordable injury. So excellent job this week maintaining those hazards on our ongoing projects. So again, it starts with a good morning briefing with a good game plan, mitigating those known hazards and eliminating those unsafe conditions and those unsafe acts. We keep doing that every single day. We're just going to see this day count add each and every day. So let's keep up the good work. With that said, I'm going to pass it over to Amy. Amy's back with us for a little wellness series. We're excited to have Amy continue this in 2022 as we're going to add a couple different topics. We're going to get into some nutrition and some dieting next month, but we're excited to talk a little bit about just kind of pain management here today. So take it away, Amy.
Good morning. Let me take the screen here. All right. So this morning we're going to talk about pain management. Some of you guys might recognize some of this content. We did it a couple of years ago, but I thought it was a good thing to revisit for anybody that's new here and a good refresher. So pain is about survival. It's an output of the brain's designed to protect you. So this is from Lorimer Moseley. He's a leading pain scientist in the world. Has some really good input. A lot of the information here is from him. So what is pain? Pain is a distressing experience associated with actual or perceived tissue damage with sensory, emotional, cognitive, and social components. So a couple of things to keep in mind here. Actual or perceived tissue damage. There might not actually be damage to your tissue. So a cut, a bruise, a torn labrum that causes pain. And then there's a couple of things besides the pain itself that can heighten or lessen our pain. So this is a really good model. It's a really basic model to explain what happens in a painful situation. So if you can see here at the end of the far end of the red line, that's somebody's hand, and they're putting their finger on a thumbtack. That red line is a nerve. So think of that as a conduit that leads up to your spinal cord, which is this kind of large bulb in the center. So you have your finger touching the tack that gives us information that gets sent up to your spinal cord. And then that information goes up to your brain. The blue line coming down is the information processed from your brain that goes all the way to your muscle, which allows your body to pull away from that tack because it was painful. So any of you that have, stepped on something sharp or stubbed your toe or touched a hot plate, recognize how quickly this system works, how quickly your body can retract from a painful situation. And that's a protective mechanism. So this is the most basic component of pain when there's a painful situation. So what affects pain sensitivity? This is the second component of pain. So you have the painful situation and then how your body responds to it. Your beliefs about pain can change how sensitive you are to pain. Stress, sleep, emotions. So if you're fearful of pain, you just have a general fear of pain, you ruminate about it, so you're overthinking it. Anxiety about pain or catastrophization about an event where you stub your toe and think, I have to go to the ER because my whole leg is broken. That's catastrophization. So those things can very much heighten pain. Lifestyle and social factors, habits, coping strategies, impairments, or other meaningful activities that can give background to understanding pain. So all of these things can affect your pain. And these are things we almost take for granted. We don't even recognize that these things are there in our lives. And and how they play into pain. So we tend to put pain into two categories. One's acute pain and the other is chronic pain. Acute pain is usually associated with a specific event. So you step out of your truck and you roll your ankle. When this occurs, there is an expected pain and timeline for how much pain you're going or how long you're going to have pain. In a specific time frame, that pain should go away. Chronic pain is when that pain lasts longer than expected. So when everything physically has healed, but you still experience pain, that's chronic pain. And that can last weeks, months, or years. It could have stemmed from an acute injury or other causes, including PTSD or traumatic events. And chronic pain can come from prior experience. A really good example is a snake bite versus a scratch. That gentleman, Lorimer Moseley, that I spoke about earlier, he's Australian. He was out in the bush walking around and he got a snake bite, but he thought he just got scratched by some bushes. So he kept walking and didn't even consider it and thought really he had no pain. The pain didn't affect him until the venom started to get to him and he needed to be dragged out of the bush. Next time he goes in the bush, he gets scratched, a very simple scratch, and he catastrophized the situation. He, jumped up and down and acted like he had to be airlifted out of there. And then he looked down and recognized that it wasn't a snake bite that he had, it was just a scratch. So that's how prior experience can affect how you feel pain and how you experience pain. Other contributors to chronic pain, big life stressors. So if a painful event happens during a big life stressor, that pain can persist. Or big life stressors can bring out old pains. Small events, family stressors, work, moving, arguments can also affect pain. And it can manifest in the body in different ways. So low back pain and neck pain are probably the biggest ones where we have pain without any major tissue damage going on. Nerve pain, the nerves can get heightened signals from your brain. So if you think of that little picture we looked at with the signal going up, the brain has to process that information. So even a little signal, the brain can amplify that and send it back as nerve pain, joint pain or muscle pain as well. So how do we handle this pain? We have different types of coping mechanisms. We have really great ones and we have some poor ones. And we really want to steer ourselves toward those positive coping mechanisms as to how we manage our pain, and that'll help to improve our outcomes. So poor coping mechanisms are pretty much avoidance, is drinking and drugs, not eating or overeating, and not sleeping. Avoidance coping, so ignoring the pain, or persistence coping, where you push through the pain. Those are things we really want to try to avoid because that's not going to help our situation. Positive coping mechanisms, on the other hand, is appropriate exercise. So say you just blew out a disc in your back, you really have had some trouble getting up and moving, you feel good one day, the appropriate activity would be to go for a walk. It wouldn't be to go for a hike up Mount Mansfield. Gentle movement versus just laying around and doing nothing. Healthy eating. There's a lot of information out there about foods that can cause inflammation and foods that are anti-inflammatory. So if you're healing, really focusing on healthy eating and getting good nutrition in your body could also be very helpful in reducing overall inflammation. Taking care of yourself, creating positive relationships. This is an interesting one, is that when we have really good support, we tend to be able to handle pain better. And participating in hobbies and really giving meaning to our life can also help us to manage pain. There's also positive and negative pain beliefs. And this could, again, heighten or reduce our pain. So positive thoughts is I can help myself. I can make a change here. Versus a negative thought, someone has to fix me. I can't do this. Someone can fix me. That's not taking control of the pain. Movement is okay versus I shouldn't move at all. My back is strong. I can help manage this. My back is weak. This is never going to get better. My posture is okay. We all have different postures and it can play into it a little bit, but if you are really strongly believe that your posture is affecting your pain, that, oh, I just slip over all the time, this is really causing it, I'm never going to change my posture, so the pain's not going to go away, that can affect your pain outcomes. So how do we conquer our pain? Especially when we're talking about chronic pain. Self-reflection is a big one. Taking a look at what beliefs you have what stressors you have, and how they trigger your pain, and then considering what kind of beliefs we have about pain. And once you can recognize these things, you could take steps to change them. But if we don't stop and reflect, we're never going to be able to identify these. Creating those really healthy habits, having good sleep. I can't tell you how important sleep is. That 7 to 8 hours is really key to allowing your body to heal. A lot of healing happens then. Good nutrition, good relationships, and doing things that give meaning to your life. And then healthy coping habits, really making sure you have appropriate levels of activity based on what you are feeling. There's lots of information out there. Lorimer Moseley, that gentleman in the beginning, he has really great consumer level information and tools that consumers can use and in a way that you can understand it. That can be really helpful. So if anyone has any questions, feel free to reach out on this.
Thank you very much. Very informative. I learned quite a bit right there. Hopefully
Good.
put some of those to good work, especially that eating healthy part. Very
Being positive.
But yeah,
Positive
very,
attitude helps, huh?
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
It's great. Thanks.
Again, PT360 is readily available to all ECI employees. If there's anything you're battling, you know, or want to change in the new year, such as eating more healthy, you know, we have some great resources over there. So contact Health and Safety, and we can get you in for an appointment with Amy and her team over at PT360. Thank you for joining us this morning, Amy, and Ken. The floor is yours.
Okay, bye, Amy. Or you
Bye.
can stick around if you'd like.
I would love to, but I have 2 children that need to go to school.
Okay.
Have a good one.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Bye.
Okay, I'm searching for my window that I need to show. There we go. I've clicked it and it should be showing up on your screen.
Yeah, we got it.
Okay, good. All right. So a few announcements this week, some new ones. Congratulations to Alec Letourneau for promotion to foreman. So that's very, very good to hear those sort of promotions. I get excited to hear that people are developing and moving up in the company. And of course, this is a holiday weekend for some. There's the Martin Luther King Jr. Day, and that's the federal and the state holiday. So a lot of places, offices and banks, state offices and so on will be closed. Certain ECI projects are shut down. There's some Velco work and Green Mountain Power and those types of jobs. And ECI office and shops will be open. Most projects will be operating. And of course, mine are just to celebrate civil rights and diversity. So new fuel cards are in. This is an older message here. Check with Sarah. I understand there's still quite a few left that haven't been picked up. So the new cards are better because they're a magnetic strip, so that they work on all fuel machines, and some of them don't work with the chip because they're older machines, older fuel pumps, but the strip works for them all. Cold nights are here for sure. We got some cold weather coming. We'll talk about it here in a couple minutes, but let's make sure we keep the diesel fuel supplement in the fuel tanks. And last week we did the 2021 death announcements, and Mark Mashter was one of the recent ones, unfortunately, and we're saddened to hear it, and sorry for the loss of Jacobs and his dad passing. And we didn't have an obituary last week, so I kept it on for this week. So wanted to share that with everybody. So ECI primary wellness program link is here again, and we'll be talking about that in the coming weeks. And it's a good time to be thinking about that. And if you do have some pain issues like what we just discussed with Amy, then certainly this is a good place to start in discussing that. They can help you focus along with PT360 to overcome some of those painful issues. We're surely back to winter now. There's frigid weathers tonight and into Saturday, and possible snowstorm, or more than possible, I think it is now, on Monday. So they're talking, low of -15, high of -1 for tomorrow. So I don't think any of us are really working, at least outdoors. And if you are, then be prepared for some brutal conditions because the wind is supposed to be pretty bad. So wind chills could be 20, 25 below, I understand. And then Monday, there'll be probably a call for some snow removal help. So be aware of that and be ready. The COVID policies, I've just highlighted one thing. I cleaned this up a little bit and highlighted one thing that because of the multiple COVID cases over the last week at ECI, we have masks required for all employees inside when social distancing of 6 feet cannot be maintained. So that means if you're vaccinated or not, and boosted or not. So let's make sure that we're not spreading anything around, and Ben can attest to that. It's not a very pleasant illness to have.
True.
So this week we're talking about the New Haven Junction station relocation. And some of my changes didn't get saved for some reason. But I'll go through it here. This was a small job that we had involvement in an interesting and kind of important to the community project down in New Haven. We helped the Vermont Railway earlier this week to move their signal cantilever over Route 7 and a gate flasher to provide clearance for the relocation of the historic New Haven Junction Railroad Station. The station was moved to another site, New Haven by Messier, house moving and construction in East Montpelier. So the issue was the building is only 10 feet from the mainline tracks and would have caused a site distance hazard to the upcoming Amtrak service, which will be operating at 60 miles an hour through the crossing. You can see the station in the kind of the center right there, really close to the tracks, and to the lower part, they moved it to the south into the town center of town. You can see right there in front of it, there was a signal flasher gate system apparatus, and then there was the overhead cantilever across Route 7. You can see how close the tracks and the trains passing by on the main line right there next to the structure. We've all probably most of us have seen the building. It is really it's really stark how close that was to the tracks. So here's some of the work going on the flasher gate setup to get that out of the way. And then here we are, we're moving the cantilever, swinging that out of the way so that it's a clear shot for the structure to move down Route 7 to the south, and then it would turn past the little Jiffy Mart. And then our guys were there the night of the move, and this is the moving of the house. Pretty cool the structure, pretty cool to see it. It's a brick structure, so they had to reinforce it, obviously. Quite a cost to the project. It was a community type thing with some kind of federal grant. Kind of controversial in some ways that you're spending so much money to move a structure like that. But, you know, it's preserving our culture and our history. And it's not unlike preserving some of the barns in Vermont. It's a shame to see all the older structures fall apart. And then I have from the photo archives, this is the New Haven Junction Crossing Project back in 2019, doing some track work there. It looks like we're getting ready to drop in a couple of the precast panels in the gauge section. So there we are. Always coming back to these sites. So that's what I got. Also, if anyone's interested, and Matt, I'll continue carrying this link at the bottom of the archive area for the 2021 photo show if you want to be, playing it during the warm-up period. So with that, I'll leave everybody to get to work and make sure that you stay comfortable out there. It's going to start to get cold. The temperature's going to start dropping right away this morning. It's not going to rise. It's just going to crash. So by late today, they're talking about pretty cold, severe weather in the late afternoon.
So we're
Okay,
already
Matt.
at our high temperature, Ken, right? Our high temperature is now for the
Right,
day.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
enjoy the high temperature right now.
Yeah, be extremely cautious, especially if there's any water breaks over the weekend. They're talking -40 wind chill tomorrow. I mean, that is cold stress, frostbite, hypothermia at its finest right there. So be real careful out there if people are out and about tomorrow and this afternoon.
Yep, sounds good. Yep,
All right, let's
protect
stay
yourself.
safe out there today. Let's have a great day.
Okay, thank you. Take care.
Thanks, everybody.